Hi there everyone, this is Ashley with Marshflower Studio. In this video I'm going to show you how to make this super cute little peach. I turn them into little keychains. If you enjoy the video, like and subscribe, and feel free to make requests for future videos. I live in Georgia, the peach state, so of course these are very popular here. If you live in a state where you have other fruits that are super popular, I recommend making some of whatever kind that is. People just really seem to love having them. So, especially with the peaches, this is very, very popular here, and for those that live in South Carolina as well. There's also lots of peach orchards there. The colors that I'm using are light peach, and the green color here is called I'm Jealousy. I think something was missed in translation there because green with envy would be a little more appropriate. But it's just a nice grassy green kind of color for the leaf. So I'll show you how I make these. They're pretty simple and they turn out very fast, very cute. So we're going to start with a magic circle. And I have 6 in our magic circle, and I'm just using number 4 worsted weight yarn and a 5mm hook for this. So it's 4, 5, and 6. Set him over here. Then we're going to have a single crochet in each stitch around, so we'll have 6 single crochets for our next row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And our background music is brought to you by my tiny tornado toddlers and the movie they are currently watching so that I can come and make this video. So our next row is going to be an increase row, 6 increases so that you end up with 12 stitches. So 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, 11 and 12. And that gives you those 2 rows of 6 down here at the bottom, give you that little kind of point that's on the bottom of those peaches. So we're going to do an increase and a single crochet all the way around so that you get to 18. So 1 and 2, 3, 4 and 5, and 6, 7 and 8, there's 9, 10 and 11, and then there's 12. Oops. I lost a few pieces there. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Okay. Our next row is going to be increasing out to 24. So I'll have my increase and then 2 single crochets. So 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, our next row is going to be our increase out to 30, and that'll be our last increase row. So we'll have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 will be our increase. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25, 26, 27, 28, and then 29 and 30. So that's the end of our increasing. Now we're going to move to our single crochet rows. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets and use my little stitch marker, my hairpin, so that I don't have to count 30 4 times. So we're going to do 4 rows of single crochet here. I've also used some of these peaches and some of the other little food things that I make for the cornucopia at Thanksgiving. And I know that this particular color is a little light for a realistic peach, but I have made some in some of the darker tones, like this kind of almost corally color, and they don't do as well as far as selling. Everyone seems to like this lighter peach shade. I'll also show you guys how to make the leaf that I use on my peach. So we have 1, 2. This will be our 3rd row. There's our third row. Now we will work on our fourth and final row of just single crochets. I saw a video from another crocheter the other day that seemed really appropriate. If you learn to crochet, start with the origami. I know everyone says that word a little differently. It is one of the easiest ways to get kind of hooked on doing crochet because you can finish them fairly quickly. They're a lot easier to, or faster to finish than a blanket. They take less yarn than a blanket. A blanket seems like the more obvious choice because you're just repeating the same pattern back and forth across each row. But let me tell you from experience, blankets take a long time. And they take a lot of yarn. A lot of the stuffed animals that I make will only take one skein, if that, of the main color. And then they take very little of other colors if I'm doing, you know, different color pads on the bottoms of the feet, or if the snout is a different color, any of the accents that are on it. So I highly recommend starting with something like this, where you're just repeating single crochets to kind of build up your skill. So for our next row is going to be a decrease row. And from this point, you really just need to ditch your stitch marker and don't worry about exactly how many stitches you have, okay? I did not write this part of the pattern to be, you know, perfectly counted. I just wanted to get the right shape that I was after. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease, and I'm going to count that down to 24. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, and then decrease is 3, 4, 5, my decrease is 6, 7, 8, decrease is 9, 10, 11, decrease is 12, 13, 14, decrease is 15, 16, 17, decrease is 18, 19, 20, decrease is 21, and 22, 23, and decrease is 24. So one of the reasons why I didn't choose to do the 3 single crochets in a decrease, which is what you would typically do here, is because I want the top of this to kind of curve inward faster than just a normal gentle curve. Okay, kind of makes the top of the peach a little more flatter, and it gives it more of that realistic shape. So our next row is going to be a single crochet and a decrease to 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and our last decrease is 18. All right. So from here, I like to leave this little tail hanging out because I'll use that to kind of tie at the end. It kind of helps secure that shape of the peach's crease in place. I'm going to add some stuffing to the inside. How much stuffing you put in yours is up to you. I like mine to be a little firmer so that part of my peach doesn't deflate when I put that crease in the outside. So stuff that down in there pretty well. If you don't have enough stuffing in your peach, you'll end up with essentially one of your little butt cheeks going flat instead of keeping this nice little crease here. We don't want flat butt cheeks. Okay. So from this point, I'm just going to do a couple of decreases to close in the last little top here. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll do one more. So I did 7 decreases on the top here. So I'm going to pull out a little section of yarn here. Pull this last loop through. I'm going to use my yarn needle. And we're going to just kind of choose a spot over here near where you finished. And you're just going to weave your yarn needle down through some of those loops. I like to kind of weave it in, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because it gives a little bit nicer of a finish on the outside. You can just take and kind of put your yarn over the top and go in through the bottom and back up through the middle to create your crease. But having it woven in definitely gives it a little bit more of a, we'll say, professional finish. All right. So when we come out the bottom, we don't want to be all the way to the center. We want to stop, on the outside of that second row. So we have our 6 in the magic circle and then our 6 count row right after that. We want to be between that 6 and 12 row. Then I'm going to take and go over, we'll go over 1 stitch, and then I'm going to push my needle just back up through the middle of my peach. And this is where I will kind of pull it tight to create that center line. It goes down through the middle. So there you have your nice little peach crack. From this point, I'm going to go around the outside loops, or the front loops of where I finished off this piece to close in this top section. Just like you would with any other project when you're to that finishing point. So pull that tight, make sure our crease is nice. And then we'll tie this in a knot. I just use square knots. Like so. And then I'll use my yarn needle to thread this down through the middle and out through the back and trim it off. So that's our little peach. And you can kind of play with it. If you're not happy with how your crease looks, you can take it out and redo it. I like that they are all a little bit different when they're finished because it makes it more realistic for, you know, the real fruit. They're not all the same. So with our next step, we're going to make our leaf for our peach. And the leaf is pretty simple. I'm going to take some green, make my slip knot, and then we're going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the 4th chain from your hook, you're going to do 3 double crochets. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then in the next 3 chains, you're also going to do a double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do a half double crochet, and then a single crochet, and then a slip stitch. And that gives us half of our leaf. On the end, I like to do a chain 2, and then I'll do a slip stitch in that second one from the hook, and that gives me my little point on the end of the leaf. And then we're just going to follow right back up the leaf, kind of doing the opposite as how we got here. So we'll do a slip stitch in this very end of the chain, then we'll do a single crochet, we'll do a half double, and I like to hold that yarn tail against this kind of center part as I go back. You can leave it hanging out the end and weave it in later if you'd like. This is just what I prefer to do. So we'll have 3 double crochets now. So 1, 2, and 3. And then 3 double crochets in that last stitch. And that'll be the same one where your first 3 double crochets went as well. So 1, 2, and 3. And we'll chain 2 and slip stitch into that same little spot there. And you can finish it off here. I like to make a little stem, so I'll chain 4 and then slip stitch the 3 back up. And then we'll slip stitch into the base of the leaf. And then we'll cut that off, pull it through. You want to leave a little bit of a tail so that you can use the green to sew it to the peach. We'll put that tip of the leaf stem right in the middle, and then I usually have it kind of wrapped down the side. And I don't sew around the outside. I put a couple stitches up here in the top to kind of hold this stem down to the middle. I usually put 1 or 2 down the center of the leaf, and then I'll put, you know, 2 or 3 down here at the bottom to make sure that that's really held in place there. But I like for my leaf to kind of stick off of my peach a little bit and not be completely, you know, sewn down all edges. So that's it for the little peach. Remember to like and subscribe to the video. If you have anything you would like for me to make in the future, just pop it in the comments. And thanks for crocheting with me today.